Hello, Sunbeamers. I hope you all are fine. Today, we are here to study about the Mauryan Empire. That is one of the most important chapters of your class 6 history. The Mauryans were one of the greatest empires that ruled India for many years. So, we will study about the kings who ruled under Mauryan Empire, what were their rules and regulations, and what were the sources of income, and what was how the empire was established and how that came to an end. So let us start with Mauryan Empire. The Mauryan Empire was the first and the one of the greatest empires established in India. Chandragupta Maurya, who was the founder of the Mauryan Empire, the Chandragupta Maurya, who fought who founded the Mauryan Empire, not only overthrew the Nandas from Magad. Actually, before the Mauryan Empire was established in Magad, the capital of Mauryan Empire was Pataliputra, and their state or their empire was known as Magad, the Magadha kingdom. Before the Mauryan Empire was established in Magad, Nanda dynasty used to rule Mauryan Empire. So Chandragupta Maurya overthrew the Nanda dynasty or defeated the Nanda dynasty and established his Mauryan Empire. And Chandragupta Maurya also defeated the Greek from the northwest frontier and unified a large part of India under a centralized government. Okay, under a centralized government, Chandragupta Maurya, he defeated not only the Nanda dynasty but also the Greeks from the northwest frontier of the country. So, from what sources we are getting to know about the Mauryan Empire? Now we will study. So basically, there are two main sources of the Mauryan history. That is a Indica. This one is very important for your exams. It can come as a 2 marks question. Indica written by a Greek ambassador Megasthenes or Megasthenes, and Arthasastra written by Chanakya. Chanakya, who was a minister in Chandragupta's court and who was very intelligent person. His rules and regulations is still known today, and also it is implemented in our constitution of India. Okay, so who was Megasthenes? Was an ambassador of the Greek ruler Seleucus Nicator to Chandragupta Maurya's court, and Chanakya was the minister of Chandragupta Maurya. Okay, and apart from these two sources, also in the pillar, the lion pillar, which is installed in many places, rock edicts of Ashoka, we get. From that, we get to know about the Mauryan Empire. So, in the establishment of Mauryan Empire, Chanakya has a great role. So, who was Chanakya? Let us know. Chanakya was known as Kautilya and Vishnugupta. He has two names, Kautilya and Vishnugupta. He was the advisor and the prime minister to the first Mauryan emperor Chandragupta. In fact, it was Chanakya who was responsible for Chandragupta's rise to power. See, Chandragupta was not born as a king. He was a normal, uh, you can say he was a student of Chanakya. Implemented him the qualities of the king and was responsible for Chandragupta's power and the establishment और फाउंडेशन ऑफ द मौर्यन एम्पायर. उसने मदद किया चंद्रगुप्त को अपना खुद का डायनेस्टी एस्टेब्लिश करने के लिए और नंदा डायनेस्टी को ओवरथ्रो करने के लिए, नंदा डायनेस्टी को उखाड़ कर फेंक देने के लिए, नंदा डायनेस्टी को डिफीट करके मौर्यन डायनेस्टी को एस्टेब्लिशमेंट में चाणक्य का बहुत बड़ा रोल है. Chanakya was a teacher at Taxila University when the Greeks invaded India. He vowed to expel them from the Indian territory. Chanakya saw that foreign invasion as a threat to India's sovereignty. See, Greeks were not Indians, Greeks were foreigners. So when they tried to invade India, वो जब इंडिया में आक्रमण करने की कोशिश किए, तो चाणक्य ने शपथ लिया. चाणक्य took the oath that he will save India sovereignty, means ekta. He will save India sovereignty from the Greeks, from the foreign people and culture. Okay, and sought to inspire a number of Indian rulers to unite and fight the Greeks. Okay, so to fight with the Greeks, he had a vow to preserve India's culture and sovereignty and protect the territory from the Greek invasion. Chanakya went to the city of Pataliputra, who what was the capital of the Magadha? Pataliputra, to help the ruler of Magadha, Dhanananda. Dhanananda, who was who ruled over a vast empire. Dhanananda was the last king of the Nanda dynasty and he ruled over the vast empire. Although Chanakya initially had cordial relations with Dhanananda, but later Dhanananda insulted and removed him from his official position. Chanakya was insulted by Dhanananda. He removed, उसने चाणक्य को अपमान दिया और चाणक्य को अपने ऑफिशियल पोजीशन से रिजाइन मतलब उसने रिमूव कर दिया. He restricted him from his official position. Okay, he was removed from his official position. That hurt Chanakya, and that day he swore to take revenge on Dhanananda. As he was insulted by Dhanananda, so उसने क्या किया, उसको उसके साथ रिवेंज लेने के लिए अपने चंद्रगुप्त मौर्य को ट्रेन किया और चंद्रगुप्त मौर्य ने नंदस को अपने मगधा के थ्रोन से हटा के अपना खुद का एम्पायर मौर्यन एम्पायर शुरू किया. Okay, he started the Mauryan Empire. Okay, and for this reason he educated and trained Chandragupta and to overthrow the Nandas and the Greeks. Okay, after a long series of battles with Chandragupta, the Nanda capital at Patliputra fell. There was a huge series of battles, long series of battles between Dhanananda and Chandragupta, and at last the Patliputra capital of Nanda fell and a new dynasty was formed, the Mauryan dynasty. Okay, and the first emperor was the Chandragupta Maurya. With the help of Chanakya, he embarked on the consolidation of the process of the empire. Embarked on the consolidation process. He tried to develop his empire. He tried to listen to the needs of his people and tried to impose good rules and regulations and laws in his empire by the help of his prime minister Chanakya. So here is the timeline you can see. Chandragupta's empire extended from Kabul and Kandahar were the part of Chandragupta's empire, which is now in your Afghanistan. This Kabul and Kandahar is now the part of Afghanistan, but once upon a time, when Chandragupta Maurya was the king of India, his empire started from Kabul in the northwest to Mysore in the south. Mysore is in Karnataka in the south, from Bengal in the east. In the east, it was from Bengal to Saurashtra in the west. Now, Saurashtra is a part of Gujarat. So, it was a very huge empire. Okay, that Chandragupta Maurya ruled. According to Jain tradition, after ruling from 24 years, he renounced the world and handed over the kingdom to his son Bindusar. Bindusar was the son of Chandragupta Maurya and he handed over his kingdom to Bindusar and took sannyas, you can say. Okay, he renounced from the world. He left all the worldly pleasures and went to sannyas. Okay. Next is Bindusar. Bindusar was the son of Chandragupta Maurya. He ruled for 25 years and continued to follow the policies of Chandragupta. Bindusar is known to have friendly relations with the Syrian king. Syrian king means there is a country in Arabian side, that is Syria, or Middle East. There is Syria. Okay, the name of the king was Antiochus I. Antiochus I and Ptolemy of Egypt. Ptolemy was also one of the great kings of Egypt. So Bindusara had a great relation with Antiochus I of Syria and Ptolemy of Egypt. After Bindusar, the name of the king was Ashoka. Ashoka was the king of Bindusar, was the son of Bindusar, and he ascended or succeeded the throne after his father's death, that is in 273 before Common Era, BCE, before the birth of Christ. On ascending the throne, Ashoka took the title Devanama Priya. Devanama Priya means the one beloved by gods, and Priyadarshi, the beautiful one. Okay, that these two names you have to remember. The Kalinga War. See, Kalinga War was one of the great event which happened in Ashoka's life, which changed his life from Chanda Ashoka to Dharma Ashoka. Okay, before that, Ashoka was very valiant. He was a aim to conquer the world by conquer the kingdoms or conquer the territories by doing wars and killing people. Okay, he was just involved in non-violence. But after the Kalinga War, he in happened in the Kalinga kingdom, which is now known as Odisha state of India. He implemented peace in his life. He was influenced by the teachings of Gautama Buddha. Okay, there is a place in Bhubaneswar, Dhaligiri, where you can go and see there are rock edicts of Ashoka, and there is a Buddha stupa where Ashoka were changed from Dharma Chanda Ashoka to Dharma Ashoka, from valiant Ashoka to peaceful Ashoka. Okay, his life, Ashoka, whose life was full of valiancy and war, his life converted into peacefulness and harmony. He was a king who thought of welfare of the people. He changed from a king who thought of expanding his empire to the king who thought of having peace in his life. Okay, let us see about the Kalinga War. After his accession to the throne, Ashoka fought only one major war, the Kalinga War. Kalinga was a powerful kingdom which has not been conquered till then. Kalinga controlled both the land and the sea routes to South India and Southeast Asia. Yes, you see Odisha, if we think of Odisha, because Odisha was then known as Kalinga. Kalinga has a good trade uh, facilities, good amount of trade facilities in its kingdom because it was well connected with the sea, and through the sea it can have a good amount of trade to South India and Southeast Asia. That is your Indonesian sites. So Ashoka want to have control over the kingdom to manage the trade of that kingdom, because from that trade he can earn much amount of money. From that trade he can get much amount of money so that his empire will prosper. ओके वो ट्रेड करके उससे कुछ कमा कर अपने एम्पायर को प्रॉस्पर करना चाहता था. So besides, control over Kalinga will contribute economic prosperity to Mauryan Empire. Yes, as I've told you. Therefore, in 261 BC, Ashoka attacked Kalinga and conquered it. However, Ashoka was so moved by the death, destruction, and human suffering in the war, he decided not to wage any war in the future. After the Kalinga War, Ashoka never fought any war. He just was influenced by the Buddhism, by the Buddhism thoughts or by the Buddhism principles, and imposed peace in his life and decided not to fight any war. The policy of Digvijaya was replaced to Dharma Vijay. He always had the policy of Digvijaya before the Kalinga War, but he changed his policy from Digvijaya to Dharma Vijay, Dhamma Vijaya, which is conquest through Dharma, not through wars. He embraced Buddhism and devoted the rest of his life for welfare of his people. Okay, next is Ashoka is known in the Indian history as one of the greatest rulers of India. Why Ashoka is known as the greatest ruler of India? Because in the history of the world, who gave up the closest after winning a war? He devoted himself to the welfare of his people. After winning a war, he what happened? After winning a war, he never, after winning the Kalinga War, he never has the aim to fight more. He never had the aim to fight more war. Rather than he gave up the deadly wars. He gave up fighting deadly wars, and devoted himself to work for the welfare of his people. That's why Ashoka was known as one of the greatest kings. He replaced the policy of Digvijaya, that is conquest of territories, with Dhamma Vijaya, that is conquest through Dharma. He tried to preach people, he tried to reach territories by Dharma, not by your territories, not by your power. He tried to reach people with good, good Dharma or good principles. He promoted mutual goodwill and respect among different religious sects. He promoted mutual goodwill. Mutual good means thinking good of others, not thinking bad of others. And he has a respect to all religious segments of the society, all religious types of the society. He was the first ruler who tried to take his message to the people through his inscriptions. So he also, Ashoka, through his rock inscriptions, he tried to tell the world about the importance of Dhamma, that is Dharma in your life. Apart from telling the importance of conquering territories or having power, he tried to preach people what is the importance of Dharma, what is the importance of peace, what is the importance of principles in life. So, welfare state. Welfare state is a state in which the government plays a key role in the protection and promotion of the economic and social well-being of the people. Okay, the state established by Ashoka can be described as a welfare state, and it was based on the idea of paternalistic state. This is indicated by Ashoka declaration is one of his edicts. All men are my children, just as I desire of my children that they may enjoy every kind of prosperity and happiness, both this world and in the next. So also I desire the same of all men. So Ashoka was devoted to his people. He always tried to protect his people and promote his people in a good economic and social well-being. Promote his people to have established economically, established socially in the society. So he thought of each and every people living in his kingdom as his own children. So as he taught them as his own children, he tried that each and every citizen will get the same happiness that he wants his children to. वो अपने बच्चों को जो खुशी देना चाहता है वो चाहता था कि उसके सब सिटीजन जो जो उसके किंगडम में रहते थे उनको भी वो खुशियां मिले, वो भी सोशली इकोनॉमिकली स्टेबलाइज्ड हो. It shows that Ashoka believed in the policy of the king being the father of his people. Ashoka took a number of measures for the welfare of the people. He appointed his officials known as Dharma Mahamatras, who went from place to place to spread his message. Okay, he appointed many Dharma Mahamatras, many officials who spread Dharma, who spread his principles. You can see the Ashoka Empire. This was the complete Ashoka Empire, okay, which was ruled by Ashoka. Okay, and here you can see the pillar and rock edicts and your stupas also, where you can see where Ashoka has written his principles. Okay. Places of India. Suppose you can see here in Dhaulagiri, Dhauli, you are having one. Here in Banaras, there is one. Here in Kapilavastu, there is one. Topra, Maski, okay, Sopara, Gima. So in each and every place of India, he has his rock edicts and pillar edicts where he has written the inscriptions to preach Dharma. He built roads and planted shady trees on both sides of the roads for the travelers. He built a number of rest houses for the travelers to ease the travelers, and he also spread tourism. You see, he built a number of rest houses so that people will come from other countries to see his empire, how he has established peace in his empire, how he has worked for his people. He got a number of wells dug to provide clean water, okay? And he arranged a medical treatment for human beings and animals. These were the work done by Ashoka. Now, Ashoka Dhamma. What was the Ashoka Dhamma? The word Dhamma in Prakrit form of Sanskrit means word Dharma. Dharma was means religious duty. What is the religious duty? The peace. What is the principle? Dhamma, as described in Ashoka Edicts, is a code of conduct based on the teachings of Buddha. The main principles of Ashoka Dhamma, based on the teachings of Buddha, he described the code of conduct, how a person should live his life. how a life should be lived. Okay. So, but where the principles of Ashoka Dhamma live together in peace and harmony, be friendly with one another and do not fight over land and religion. We should never fight over land and religion, and also always live in peace. Follow ahimsa, that is non-injury and non-violence. Children should obey their elders, and elders should treat children with affection. Be kind to your slaves and servants. Okay, we should always be kind to our servants. These were the points. Be truth and charitable. We should always be truthful, and charitable means we should always help others. Do not indulge in unnecessary rituals. We do not believe in andhavishwas. Okay, how he spread dharma? You see, how he spread dharma? Ashoka took the following steps to spread dharma. Ashoka set an example for others by following what he preached. He forbade killing of peacocks and deer for the royal kitchen. He also gave up herbs. He left killing of animals, that is peacock and deer, for the royal kitchen for eating. And he also gave up words, means he left non-veg. You can say in short, Ashoka appointed dharma mantras, mahamantras to spread Buddhism, and also these officers advised people to follow the dharma. The people were advised to follow the Buddha principles. That was the code of conduct to live a life. Ashoka issued edicts in Prakrit on which the principles of Dhamma were engraved. Okay, he sent missions to Afghanistan, Burma, Sri Lanka. Okay, he sent missions to Afghanistan, Burma, and Sri Lanka to spread Buddhism, and also he sent his daughter Sanghamitra and Mahendra to Sri Lanka to spread Buddhism. Okay, Ashoka went on Dhamma Yatras, pilgrimage to holy places to spread the message of Buddha. To spread the message of Buddha, he went to holy places. And the Mauryan administration. Now we completed reading about Ashoka's Dhamma. What was the principles of and the code of conduct of living a life, how he changed from Digvijaya to Dhamma Vijaya. Now we will read about what was the administrative principles of Mauryan dynasty. Chandragupta Maurya was an efficient administrator. The administrative setup established by him continued under his successors, with some changes made by Ashoka. So he was a very efficient administrator. He had a good administrative setup in his scope. He has every officials for each and every your portfolios for each and every work. He has appointed many officials. Let us see. So this information of administration you can get from Arthasastra and Indica, and also by inscriptions of Ashoka. So the administrations of Maurya was can be studied in four main heads, that is the central administration, provincial administration, district and village administration. See, in Mauryan dynasty, so many years before India got independence, we had the Mauryan dynasty. So much years, means before the birth of Christ, 200 years, 300 years before the birth of Christ, the Mauryan administration was established, or Mauryan dynasty was established. They had a proper well-managed system of administration. You can see here, they had a central administration. Provincial means a state administration. They had a district administration and a village administration. In the civics class, I have told you that to look after each and every segment of the country, we had self-government, local self and urban self-government. Here in Mauryan Empire also, they worked on the same principle. They had a central government, they had a provisional government, they had a district government, they had a village government, village administration. So let us see about the central government. The Mauryan administration was highly centralized. The king was the head of the administration. Who was the head of the administration? The king. Now, who is the head of our country? The prime minister. Okay. He was also the supreme judge. He was assisted by a council of ministers called as Mantri Parishad. Now we had council of ministers. That time they were called as Mantri Parishad. Each minister was responsible for his department. Okay, like health minister, your finance minister. Okay. Ashoka made small changes in the administrative system. he appointed Mahamatras to look after the welfare of the people. Mahamatras means governors. Mahamatras means governors. What was the work of the governor? To look after the welfare of his people. Military administration. The Mauryans has a large and well-equipped army. It consisted of infantry, cavalry, elephants, and chariots. Very large army. The Mauryan dynasty had a very large army, and also they were having elephants and chariots so that they can win war easily, win wars easily. Because at that time wars were very common. People used to conquer each another's kingdom, so they used to have a very large and well equipped army. Now, city administration. What was the administration of the city? Okay. Important cities, the capitals of the provinces, had their own administrative system. The head of the city was Nagaradaksha. Nagaradaksha means the head of the city. Now the head of the city is the municipal chairman, okay, or mayor. But now at that time that was Nagaradaksha. According to magazines, Patliputra, the capital of Mauryan Empire, was looked after by a committee of 30 members. Each committee was divided into 6 boards, each consisting of 5 members. Okay, so in Pataliputra, there were 6 boards, and each board has how many members? 5, or total 30. Each board was assigned separate functions like industries and handicrafts. Okay, care of foreigners, registration of birth, deaths, and inspection of manufactured goods and collection of taxes. So, what were the 6 boards of Patliputra can come in exam? That is your industries and handicrafts, care of foreigners or travelers, registration of birth and death. See, at that time they were having registration of birth and death. So we have, as I have told you, many things of in administrative aspects or your government rules aspects we have taken from the Mauryan Empire, because they had a very good system of administration and rules and regulations. So we were inspired from their rules and inscripted that rules in our constitution. Inspection of goods and collection of taxes. Provincial government means the state government. The empire was divided into provinces for administrative efficiency and convenience. As I've already told you, one center cannot look each and every place. So one country is always divided into provinces or state. During the reign of Maurya, Chandragupta Maurya, the empire was divided into 4 provinces. What were the 4 provinces? Taxila, Ujjayini, Suvarnagiri, and Patliputra. So these 4 provinces can come. Ashoka added the 5th province, Kalinga. And what was the capital of Kalinga? Toshali. Toshali was the capital of Kalinga. Each province was ruled by a king called Kumara, assisted by the governor Muhammad. So each province, how many provinces were there? 5 provinces. What were they? Takshila, Ujjayini, Suvarnagiri, and Patliputra. And one more province was included by Ashoka, that is Kalinga. Total 5. Each was ruled by Kumara and assisted by Mahamatra. District government. Each province was divided into number of districts. The officer called Rajuka was the head of the district. Now the head of the district is collector. That time it was Rajuka. And the Yuktas were officers who carried administrative duties in the districts. Okay. Village administration. Village is the smallest unit of administration. The head of the village was the Gopa. Now the head of the village is Sarpanch. At that time it was Gopa. This all things we have to remember. Mauryan economy. What was the basis of Mauryan economy? Mauryan economy was based on agriculture. The state provided irrigation facilities. See, at that time also they were provided irrigation facilities. Slaves were engaged in agriculture work on a large scale. Traders were organized in guilds called Shrenish. Inland trade was carried by caravan traders. Overseas trader carried on with, say, many people were earning their living by agriculture, and it was organized in different shrenis, different sections of people. Okay, and normally in between your land, it was the trade was carried by caravan traders, means small your bullock cats, you can say caravan traders, and goods were transported from one place to another. Overseas trade was also prominent, that is to Syria, Egypt, Greece, Rome, China, and Sri Lanka. What were the chief item of export from Mauryan Empire? Spice, pearls, diamonds, sandalwood, ivory, cloth, silk yarn. So these were the primary exports. Export means from Mauryan Empire it was taken to other countries. And imports were your linen, silver, gold, and dry foods. This was the import, means brought to the Mauryan dynasty. Okay, you can see the coins of the Mauryas, punch marked coins of the Mauryas. And revenue system. The Mauryan state exercised strict control over trade and industry, okay, and collected taxes. So for trade, they collected taxes as well as custom duties depending on the value of the goods. So for trade, they collected taxes. There was a state monopoly in mining and metallurgy. It was good source of income to the Mauryas. So the Mauryas raised their income through taxes from trade, and also they impose some custom duties for mining and metallurgy. Mining means they took out coal, etc. Land revenue was the chief source. See, they took your tax on land revenue also. Okay, if you are buying a land, you have to pay the land tax, land revenue. It varied between 1/6 to 1/4 of the produce, depending on the fertility of the soil. See, the agriculture land, they are producing, suppose you are producing 100 grams of rice or 1 kg of rice, means as tax you have to give 250 gram of rice to the king or to the state or to the kingdom. That is your tax, land tax, and that 250 gram of kingdom is considered as a tax, is taken as a tax. So there were two kinds of tax, bhaga and bali. Bhaga and Bali. Bhaga was levied on agricultural produce. Bali was a religious tribute. Religious tribute means as the king was the head of the kingdom, you have to give something to the king as a religious tribute, or as a gift to the king. You have to give something to the king. Taxes were also levied on liquor shops, means sharab ki dukan, gambling houses, means where we play, where people playing that tash, okay, cards, and forest and mines. So tax was the main system of earning revenue for the Mauryan kingdom. Currency was also quite common. Coins of different metals were also used for exchange. Now, art and architecture. Mauryas made a remarkable contribution to art and architecture. Ashoka is have to build 8,400 stupas. A stupa is a dome-shaped structure where the relics of Buddha or Buddhist saints were kept. Stupa, the Shanti Stupa of Madhya Pradesh and Bharut Stupa of Madhya Pradesh are the one of the most famous stupas in India. The Mauryas built prayer halls and monasteries for the Buddhist people. This was mainly made by Ashoka. The stupas were built. Okay, now also you can go and visit the Sanchi Stupa. Best specimens of the Mauryan art are the number of monolithic stone pillars. Monolithic means that entire pillar is made up of one stone. Okay, carved of a single piece of rock. The pillars have decorated tops called capitals. This thing. The tops are called as capitals. This is a pillar. The top is known as a capital. Okay, which is beautifully carved animal figures. In the capital, they have a beautifully carved animal figures. Most famous pillar is the Sarnath pillar. The Sarnath pillar, this is the emblem of India. Okay, the Sarnath pillar is adopted as the emblem of India, which is known as the lion capital. It has 4 lions sitting back to back so that the face of so that they face 4 directions. Okay, each lion is facing one direction. Okay, there are 4 lions sitting back together, which symbolizes 4 different directions. And there is a dharma chakra. There is a dharma chakra also here. So you can see dharma chakra, that is the wheel of law in the center. Okay, and there is a bull and a horse. Bull and a horse, okay, beside the Dharma Chakra. The wheel appears on our national flag. This Dharma Chakra or Ashok Chakra appears in our national flag in the white region, okay, in blue color. The lion capital has been adopted as the national emblem of India. It is printed on our currency and government documents. Now, how the Mauryan dynasty came to an end? What was the reason for decline of Mauryan dynasty? After the death of Ashoka, the Mauryan empire began to disintegrate. Means todafod ho gaya. After the death of Ashoka, the Mauryan empire began to disintegrate. Means they were not centralized. Why the Mauryan empire was strong till Ashoka? Because it was centralized. एकजुट होके रहते थे. लेकिन उसके बाद वो disintegrate हो गए. वो टूटना शुरू हो गए. So Ashoka's successors were weak and incompetent. The empire was huge and far away areas could not be controlled from center. The funds were insufficient to maintain for the administration of the army. The funds बहुत कम थे, army बहुत huge थे उनके. The division of the empire into number of provinces and giving the governors independent powers weakened the empire, because as the empire is very large and divided into many provinces, so governors and the Kumaras were given independent powers. So our Mauryan Empire came into decline because it began to disintegrate, and the kings were also kings after Ashoka were not so competent and showed not so brave, so that they could not protect their empire from foreign invasions. Okay, so Pushyamitra Sunga, the commander in chief of the last Mauryan ruler, killed his master Brihadatta and ascended the throne. So Brihadatta was the last Mauryan king, last, and he was killed by his own commander-in-chief, Pushyamitra Sunga. So with this, we came to the end of the chapter. I hope you have understood it. Okay. We will meet in the next class with a new chapter. Till then, thank you. Bye-bye. Take care. And please don't forget to like and subscribe the channel. And Jai Hind.